Hey, Block Stars Live. It's been really fun. I'm gonna go ahead and end this series today. I was looking at sort of the topics I had picked out for the remaining part of the series. I wanted to end on 100. I just like prime numbers, it's just because I'm weird. But there's no way I can give 2 more weeks to this. I just can't. I gotta like do some other things. You know what I mean? See, I was trying to rush so I could, because I have to go work on some other projects. And I'll tell you about those things real quick before I go. Some things you can look forward to. I'm hoping that you'll look forward to them. But I'll give you the abstracts to each of these final topics, but I'm not going to be making any more videos. I might come back on Block Stars Live to show some mailbags. I have some bunk art coming in. I have more Warhola. I probably will have multiple Warhola mail bags. I've got David Gross coming in. I've got Cheap Toys coming in. Those are in the mail. I've got more fan projects and all this shit. So I'll be around, but I'm not doing any more like discussion topics. I just don't have any more time. I'm kind of out of time. So, in fact, this whole room will be transformed into my new studio. Hey, Paul. Oh, you want this? Yeah, this is by Mark Newgarden, and it was just his little rough sketch for 12 o'clock high or whatever it was. Chess Adams gag. So he took it from another illustrator, the idea. And from what I know, him and Art Spiegelman would sit and they would just doodle on just random pieces of paper. This is like a really cheap, like a piece of copier paper. And so I had Mark sign that for me recently. Yeah, I love the concept stuff, man. Even though they look like trash, right? I mean, come on. But they weren't meant to be like, anything spectacular. It's just to get their artist started on their idea. So that's Charred Coal by Mark Newgarden. What's amazing is Mark signed it. Because looking at it, he might not want to be associated with this, because he is I don't know if you guys have seen his personal art. Like I honestly, I haven't seen like a lot of it, but I have seen some pieces of his, and you'll instantly tell why he got the position he got. So yeah, he's very talented. But, these don't really show that. They weren't meant to show off, his skills. But, yeah, so this is an Art Spiegelman sketch for Vampire. And I have them stacked in here, so there's more Spiegelman in there. Yeah, guys, so it's been really fun. I'm sorry I cannot just keep doing this. Like, the thought of me Monday morning, like fucking coming over here and spending over an hour talking, I just can't. I'm having trouble like getting through an entire topic. I was really struggling yesterday. I'm very sorry about yesterday's video. I was kind of myasthenic because I kind of forgot. Well, I forgot to take my one of my pills, and so yeah, I have to prep for these. I have to like be a certain way before I sit here and talk for that long. Because you got to realize I'm alone. I'm in this bedroom. I'm up here in the top of my house. So, because by this window, for some reason, my phone, like I can talk on the phone and not get all broken up. I have shitty service is what it is. But it's kind of weird when you do live streams. I don't know if some of you guys have done them. It's very weird at first because you're literally talking to yourself. Like right now, there's no one in this room. I'm here blabbering to myself. And to stay on a topic where I'm basically improvising this, I don't have any notes. I'm having to come up with this out of my head. But what is spurring these ideas from me? Who is like, there's no one having a conversation with. I'm having to draw all this shit from my head. It's hard to stay on topic. And this time of year, dude, it's hard for me to stay in the house. I just love the fall, man. I always get art things going. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to, see, I was going to postpone. I was like, I might come back, but I don't want to I don't want any more commitments, man. I'm sorry. I'm just going to just say I'm done with this. So let me just tell you kind of the gist of the final topics. Okay, yesterday I meant to scratch that. I told you a little bit about retirement. Guys, I wish I could redo that video. It's so shitty. I wasn't prepared to talk about it. Okay. So I'm going to go through each of these final topics. I'm going to give you what's called the abstract. An abstract is what you see on an essay. It's the first paragraph, basically. The levels of GPK. Is there a higher level I can evolve to as a GPK collector? Yes, absolutely. So here's the one. If you want to reach the top of the collecting sphere, it's curatorship. So what curatorship is, it can take different forms. So I'm doing what's called an archive. So when I buy something, I know it looks like a bunch of fucking trash, and some of it is, but what you're not seeing is how I organize my collection. And everything I buy has a place. And when I buy things, I know where it's going to go in the archive. Now, my archive is called the Garbage Archive. It's currently the most famous archive in the GPK category. It's because it's the oldest. There has been a few other archives in the hobby, but the other two guys sold everything, and they actually literally quit GPK. So mine's kind of like the only one at this moment, but there'll be more, I'm sure, over time. But basically, you know, when I'm buying items, they have a part in the story. So I'm putting together, basically, my collection is just an overall showcase for my narrative. And that takes different forms. I don't want to get into all this, honestly, but basically there's different levels of collecting GPK. So for example, the bottom level are people who, well, they're people that you'll never know is probably what it is. You know, there's people that they're not part of the community. There's actually collectors, you know, I run into them sometimes. They're not a member on Facebook. They don't even have a Facebook account, but yet they collect Garbage Pail Kids, and they do it quietly, and it's just for their own personal use, kind of like a recreational drug. You know, they're like a quiet addict, and they're happy like that. And you'll never know them, and I will never know them, and that's fine. It's just how they want to do things, and their collection, no one's ever going to see it. It's going to stay in their home. And one day they'll die, and it'll go to whoever their heir is. And that will even be unknown as well. You will never hear about it. So that's the very bottom level of collecting. It's this private, anonymous style, like under the radar. The next level would be sort of like you see kind of like on Facebook a lot, just kind of guys that kind of mingle for a while, and but they don't really contribute, and they're just kind of like getting like complete sets, and you know their end game is so short that it's barely an end game kind of thing. Okay, topic 95. Oh, I'm sorry. So the answer to what is there a level higher? It's curatorship. The dream. Let me tell you what the dream is. Well, actually, I should do it on Endgame. These are very connected. And I told you guys this before. I wish we had a museum for Garbage Pail Kids. We definitely need one. I don't know where the museum would be. I think it does need to be a physical, you know, brick and mortar museum or whatever, like a physical museum, because our items are very physical, or a lot of them are very physical. It's something I think they should be seen in person. But anyway, that would definitely be the highest level of curatorship. What if you opened the first Garbage Pail Kid museum? Now you tell me right now, listen, that would be the top level. How could you ever top the guy that opened the official Garbage Pail Kid Museum? Dude, you'd be the ultimate collector. You put together the collection. Even if it wasn't all your shit, you were the puppet master that put together the Garbage Pail Kid Museum. So guys, I don't know if you're that ambitious. I'm not even that ambitious. I operate right up under that. I like sort of the half step under that by putting together an archive, and I try to get my things out there. Okay. Man, that went too long. Okay, my 95th topic was going to be how to experience Garbage Pail Kids art and hermeneutics. Why I've always hated sketch cards. That was going to be like a little subtopic. I don't want to get into that. I'm kind of done with all the fake hate and stuff. That was just done for jokes. All right, so basically, my one of my majors in college was postmodern philosophy. So the one I picked that I was drawn to was hermeneutics. So what that is, it's the notion that, well, it's sort of like the phenomena of conversation. So think about the last conversation you had. Maybe you talked to maybe a hobby buddy. I don't know. Just think of the last time you had a true conversation. Now, this would not include the time you were in Walmart yesterday and there's some dude who was like, man, it got cold yesterday, didn't it? That's not a conversation, right? Think about the last like good conversation you had. So hermeneutics studies the phenomena of conversation. So what the fuck does that have to do with art? And why would I study that, being an art, that was my main major, was art education and art. But so a lot of artists study hermeneutics because it can relate to art. So the idea with this is there is a conversation between art and viewer, right? God, do I want to get into all this? This could take upwards of 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to think how I can make this simple. Now, with hermeneutics comes a lot of what we call prejudices. So what a prejudice is, it's an assumption. So I'm assuming, like I have to assume some things for me to judge this work of art, because that's kind of that's how you use it. You use it to judge art or critique art. So for me to critique this, I'm assuming a lot. First of all, I'm assuming it's a work of art to begin with. I could argue that this isn't even like art that you would see in a museum. It's of course not art you'd see in a museum, but I'm assuming that it belongs in the mindset that I'm trying to fit it in. But for the sake of argument, I'm just going to do that. So yeah, this is a valid piece of art. Now, there's things that this artwork can tell me if I ask the right questions. So that's where the conversation comes in. There's things that's in my head that I bring to this, and there's things this object can teach me. Okay? So from the get-go, it takes someone like myself and someone like you, Garbage Pail Kid experts, to deem this a legit Garbage Pail Kid piece of art. And so looking at it, just basically, yeah, it's definitely looks like a Cabbage Patch Kid, Mike Tyson. Is he doing something gross? Is he a Garbage Pail Kid to begin with? Yes, he is. So I'm assuming you agree with me that this is a Garbage Pail Kid. And so the conversation would go like this. So I'm looking at the qualities of the work of art. What is this artwork telling me about Brent Ingstrom, about Mike Tyson, about the Garbage Pail Kid world. Like, how does it speak to me as a viewer? And how am I going to answer that back? And so it's a back and forth of, I get a piece of information from him, and I take that information back into my head, and I form the next question, just like a conversation. Wow, Mike, you look very angry here. And how do I know he looks angry? What's the visual information I'm getting from this that he's angry? Well, he tore his own ear off. His eyes to me look very angry. And so how this is useful is, while I'm doing this, I'm just realizing how good of an artist Brent Engstrom is. He communicated this. Do you know Brent Engstrom took a white sheet of paper, made this, he spawned a piece of fucking art. That's amazing. You know, art is so amazing in that way. And there's so much that we can learn from it if we stay engaged with it. So to study hermeneutics is an engagement of questioning back and forth. What is the information he's giving me from this? And how can I use that information to form new avenues of knowledge? Okay. Am I happy with that explanation? Honestly, not very much. But hopefully you can kind of get the gist of how hermeneutics could be useful when you're looking at art a little deeper. And I will say, I think Garbage Pail Kids, we need to look at it a little deeper. Most people are like, oh man, that's gross, that's cool, next. But these artists put a lot of work into this. So with any sort of technique or philosophy, it's all about, listen, it's all about stopping, questioning, and seeing what you can learn and how you can take that knowledge and build from that. I wish our hobby was a little deeper in that respect. I'll just tell you what I see, man. And it's a fucking turnoff. I just see a lot of dudes after work just mindlessly just buying shit, and then it's just like no one's talking about this stuff. For someone, I just love to think, I love to study, I fucking love these artists, man. I just fucking love it. Like, I'm proud to be a Garbage Pail Kid collector. I'm happy I'm in this space. Obviously I've been here like so fucking long, and I just wish I felt that energy in other collectors. And I'm not talking to the people watching this now. No, you guys are obviously, you know, going somewhere. I'm just talking about the general fucking mass fucking population of the hobby. There's so much we could even learn from this one artwork. I mean, it's got badass texture. I just fucking love the emotions. And no one really talks about why the art director made Warhol change his artwork. You know that happened, right? He was forced to change this design. So there's a lot of things that you can learn about just each piece. And I think that's kind of my thing with Garbage Pail Kids, is I study each piece. I don't think of things in big sets. Like, I like each, this is its own thing. Okay, 96 was going to be how I got on TV. I can definitely tell that in 5 minutes. Yeah, that was going to be a long hour. I was actually going to show you the episode. I don't have time, guys. I really am sorry. I'm not being like a patronizing or anything. I have work to do. How I got on TV. So what happened was, all this went down on eBay. Okay, so I have a store on eBay. It's called Garbage Archive. That's always been its name. It's a premium store. I have, the largest store. I have to pay a shitload of money to have my store. Right now I have 3,000 items for sale. Sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less. And that takes a lot of work, man. I put a lot of work into it. But anyway, one day in last August, it was last August, it's been a year, I got contacted by one of my buyers. So this was a guy who I'd sold candy items to. I'd been selling to this guy for like 3 years. And I remembered him because he likes to buy sort of my higher level items. Guys, I'm sorry I'm not showing anything. Let me see. What can I show you guys? Guys, I'm so done, man. I ran out of things to show y'all like fucking 2 months ago. I mean, I went through my entire garbage kid collection. I'm not going to show every card, you know what I mean? But no one wants to see me show every card. But I don't know what to show you. So here's some nobodies. Let's look at this. So anyway, so I got contacted by this guy that I had sold to on eBay. It was all eBay. And he was like, "Hey, Russ." And I was like, "Oh, you know my name." We're doing a show on, I forget what all information he told me to begin with. You got to understand this went for months and months, but I'm trying to remember the first conversation. But basically, he's like, we're doing this show, and there's a part of the show that I think I can work in some of your candy, some of these grocer candies. I was like, yeah, man, that's actually my thing. I focus on gross candies. And he was like, yeah, I figured that. So it just it became this thing where it was a back and forth. And then finally he was like, well, you have to basically, it was basically like an audition. And so even though I was kind of like now becoming friends with the producer, this guy that I'd been selling to for over 3 years, I had no idea he was a producer. He was like, you're going to have to talk to another producer on the phone and basically go through a questionnaire. And she has to hear your voice. She's got to hear if you're articulate, if you can, put sentences together. Because they're not just going to put someone on TV that can't, talk. And I was like, well, this is perfect because I've been teaching in the public school system for 22 years. I mean, my whole job was to talk for 8 hours a day. That's actually something, guys, by the way, I'm talking to you now. I miss that. That's one reason I talk on here so much is I have no one to really talk to during the day. And I'm used to going for 8 hours and just blabbering for 8 hours in the classroom to going to having no one to talk to. So it's been kind of a rough transition. But anyway, so I auditioned for it. It took about an hour to get through all the questions, but it was over the phone. It ended up being this British lady. She was so sweet, but her accent was really cool. And I could kind of tell she didn't really know like anything about any of this. Like she was just kind of handed the job to interview me, basically. So I went through the interview, and she was like, "Well, give me a few days, but I'm sure you got the little the job or whatever." And so yeah, she called me back a few days later and told me that I had it, and that I would be after they got done filming the Ghostbusters guy, I would be next. So she gave me 2 months to prepare. My home was not prepared. I don't have any display shelves in my home. Me and my wife, we collect antiques, like, just older furniture and stuff. And so I can't put, Alice Island in my living room. It just wouldn't really fit. So basically what I did is they made me do a video, like a home tour video. And there was even a question that we could even do it here. They didn't think they could do it in my house. And so, like, for the first few weeks, it was us trying to figure out if it was even doable. And I looked into renting out some places in my area. So I contacted the History Museum here in Augusta. And she told me there that I could take one of their main rooms in the History Museum to film out, but she couldn't guarantee that my items wouldn't get stolen, or like the security of the room that they were going to give me. They would not like guarantee that it was secure, basically. like she said it was secure, but I couldn't sign they would not let me sign any sort of contract for anything that was lost or damaged. And then at the end of the conversation, she was like, honestly, after looking at your pictures, I would advise you not to use the History Museum because everything I have is like kind of small, So that was out, and the pitch for my episode. Listen, the pitch was supposed to be Indiana Jones, so they wanted to have it where Adam Richman would come into a dusty warehouse, no lights, and Adam Richman would have a flashlight, and he would be looking around. He might hear a mouse, crawling by, but then he shines his light up on some boxes, and he sees old candy boxes, and he would start opening the crates of candy, and he would find all this shit. And that was going to be my episode. It was supposed to be an Indiana Jones theme. Adam Richman, the Indiana Jones, and then I guess, I don't know how I'd work into all that, but I always kind of felt they just wanted to see my shit. They didn't really need me for the episode at all. But anyway, I got to be in the episode. But anyway, so for 2 months, I went on a display building spree. I ended up buying $1,200 worth in wood from Lowe's and just all this material to build these shelves. Some of them are not even seen in the episode. I had shelving up in my room up here, but they ended up they could only film in my living room space that I had designed, and that took me so long. That's something I don't even like trying to remember because it was so stressful. And then I had to I had to get everything out and arrange it. I had no guidance on how to arrange it. And it was just chaos, man. But on November 19th, 2021 was the filming day. So they got to my house at 5:30 in the morning, and they had a COVID cleaning crew. So you got to understand this was during COVID, so they spent almost an hour cleaning my home, even though it was spotless because I had cleaned it. But they cleaned it again, and they went to all the rooms, even though all the rooms weren't used. And the good thing that happened during that period was I got to talk to the producers by himself, and I got to show them things that weren't shown in the episode. He got to see like the big part of my collection, not just like the little things I picked out. Because in the episode, you see almost nothing I own. Like, that's so little. That's like nothing compared to what all these fucking storage areas I have. But anyway, I got to show them those while they were cleaning. And I pitched some more episode ideas. And I don't know. We'll see what comes from it. Since then, they've taken some pictures and used them in other episodes, so my name gets in other credits of other episodes. But as far as Adam Eats the 80s, I'm only in that one episode towards the end. But yeah, so Adam Richman was absolutely amazing. He's even better than he is on the TV show. He's not an asshole or anything. He's super nice and sweet. Amazing energy. That's something I was so shocked with is his energy. It was just unstoppable, man. It's just, man, look at that. All right. Yeah, last Christmas I sent him a little care package and he loved it. I always forget to get his autograph though. Okay, 97 Endgame. So if you don't know what Endgame is, that is, so what you do is you ask yourself, and I don't know that I recommend this. I never forget the first time I heard this concept. I was talking to one of my candy friends, Jason, And he actually introduced me to the idea of Endgame. I think this was like 2009, a long time ago. And he was like, I was talking to him like I didn't know why I was collecting candy. I just loved it. And I was just kind of talking to him about my fears of like taking it too far. I don't know why I was buying so much, but I just wanted to. And I didn't really know what I was doing with it. And he was like, yeah, Russ, I'm the same way. I don't like to think about Endgame. I was like, well, what's that? He said, well, Endgame is when you start questioning where you want your collection to end up. How do you know your collection is done? So I don't know that I want to explain all this right now. For one thing, I love you guys too much. And I'll tell you, from the day I had that discussion with Jason, I've never thought about my collection the same way again. It's good and bad. It's actually extremely depressing. But basically, you question what you're even doing. I don't want to ruin y'all's day, man. I really don't, man. So I'm just going to leave that alone. Exit path. Exit path is how are you going to get out of your collecting spirit? Do you have an exit path to the Garbage Pail Kid hobby? No. 98. GPK is dead. I think it's very dead. I think we're running kind of on this fake kind of... We're in this kind of crazy, desperate stage of the hobby. Topps is just spitting out some shit and seeing what lands on the wall, what sticks. It is absolute fucking chaos. Nothing's really connecting to other stuff. I think it's totally dead. Most of the Garbage Pail Kid art I'm seeing doesn't even look like Garbage Pail Kids. The future of cheap toys. Yeah, I'm not prepared to talk about. I didn't ever make any notes for these last ones. Future of cheap toys. Well, Topps is never going to make Series 3. Me and some of my friends are currently working on a cheap toy fan set. I did the art for it. You guys want to see it? All right. Hold on. Give me one. Let's see. Give me 20 seconds. Guys, while I'm getting this out, so I need to talk with you guys. So y'all probably know, you probably kind of guessed along the way that I'm not quitting the hobby. I am setting up boundaries. It wasn't all like fake news, but I'm not leaving this hobby, man. No, I don't think you can leave this hobby. I can't even imagine not collecting Garbage Pail Kids. Let's see what this is. Oh, these are some. This isn't this cheap toy art. I'll get to that. Yeah, these are some designs I did for the fan sets. This is a pencil of Trump. You might have saw that on one of the fan set cards. Here's my original black inks for the Black Market logo. So that was my logo. That's in Sharpie. And here's my alternative one. This is the one I kind of started with. The problem was I couldn't get this on the fucking card. It's too like fucking wide. So I tried to reduce it, and eventually, even though I loved him, I liked sort of the flow better than him. We eventually just didn't go with that. Yeah, so that's where that came from. If you see that around the hobby, that was my logo. Oh, this is a Garbage Pail Kid I made for my daughter. 2008. Yeah. Yeah, her name's Ivy, so this character was Ivy League. It was made in the all-new series style because that's what we were going through at the time. Oh, here's the dimensions of the BK2 box, if you have that fan set. Stupid Trump shit. Okay. Cheap toy. Guys, I'm so fucking excited. I cannot wait for Series 3 Cheap Toys fan set. Now, it's not guaranteed it's coming out. The reason is because I don't have control over it. If I had control over it, I could get it out for you. Hold on, let me just show you the nitty gritty. So here's the box art for it. So I was in charge of designing the box cover. So this is the lid, basically. And I was only supposed to take it to color rough stage, and that's what you're looking at. You're looking at the color rough. By the way, this thing's really big. It just there's a lot of work in here. So if this ever does come to, if it's ever made, I mean, we're done with the art. This is not the final art. The final art was done digitally. This was just the color rough. But if it's ever made, it's gonna be so badass. So anyway, you can see the characters that will be made in Series 3. They've already been made. We have them made. The problem is getting the fucking boxes made. The problem is getting all the gum made, the packs printed, the packs packed with the gum, because these will come with bazooka gum. If Garbage Pail Kid Cheap Toys were released today, they would come with bazooka gum. Do you know why? Topps does not produce candy. Not candy wafers. They would never put candy wafers in any sort of package in 2022. They would use bazooka gum. They're still in control of that brand. So instead of having, fucking, and we're trying to do baggies just like this, actually. And I'll show you the design for this that I drew. But, yeah, they wouldn't come with candy. They would come with a little piece of gum. And so we got the gum picked out. But basically the concept is Hector Collector. Remember him? He's on a pile of bazooka gum. Now he's in his bedroom. The reason I went with a bedroom is because the first cheap toy art was, they were outside. So I wanted to do an interior because we're trying to do something different here. So he's in his bedroom. He's got the old cheap toy art on the wall. These are the characters in the set. There's a bazooka. You might have seen these on Instagram. We have them on Instagram. So you might have seen this sculpt. Dinosaur will be in the set. My favorite character he made, I didn't make the toys, was Bow and Arrow. He's so beautiful. I forget his name. Han something. The little turkey guy, Thanks Gavin, will be in the set. Crystal Gale is a figure in the set. She's really pretty. Snaky Jake and Stone Shawn. I did some little odes to old GPK toys. Notice I didn't color them on, and I didn't need to color this whole thing. It was just kind of get it started for the next designer. And so yeah, so that's it. So there was, a little attic, little drop down boxes, bow and arrow, shooting an arrow down here. So I was trying to draw the eye back down here. So this is kind of the locus of the design. It sort of swirls around this part. And yeah, it's just a dresser that's open. Yeah. I had to do a little thing here to get the eye back up there. Put a little movement in the curtains, even though it doesn't make sense because the windows aren't open. There's no reason why the curtains would be flowing. But when I was designing it, I kind of needed that to come out. So I did it anyway. It doesn't all have to make sense. And then I left this up to the designer who's doing it next because I didn't want to paint all this in. It's a female designer. She's going to put the cards that she picks here. even though she can look at pounds or Warhola's art and know who to put there, but I think we should do that. Oh, and this is the Series 2 box. I didn't paint all of it in. Okay. Now, to get to this took around 3 months of pencil work, so I'll show you my process to come to this. It's not in order, though. These are some of my first sketches of Hector Collector. Here's sort of the really more cabbage patchy looking Hector Collector, which I love. I love the real innocent baby. This is more like what Pound would do. Yeah, this is when I was working on it during the pandemic. Here was, and these are big. Look how big that is. Kind of ugly, but this is just a concept piece. Like, what if Hector is opening a big bag of, like, a big cheap toy bag? So that was just sort of that. Yeah, they're not all pretty, which is why we didn't use them. All right, this is just a model page of the hands, and I ended up going with a little space here because Cabbage Patch Kid dolls, they can't get their arms closed because they're so fat and chunky. Oh, here's my pencil. Oh yeah, so I didn't say this. So I was going to do, OS3 green box. So I figured it's the third set of cheap toys. So the box is going to be green, not red. It's going to be green. And the color is supposed to be pink. I always love the pink, green, and yellow scheme, which is very light, fruity, bright, happy, fresh colors. Okay, this page is more mock-ups for the box art. You see I was kind of struggling. That looks so ugly. Yeah, I wanted more of the baby style, more innocent. This is just a page of like random trash stuff you can add to. All I was doing, I was going through my Garbage Pail Kid cards and just copying what other guys throw in. A lot of bunkisms in here. Just trying to get my model sheet ready. This is more hands and positioning sketches. This is the cheap toy. This is the new logo. Splats, bricks. We entertain fly paths. We entertain bullet holes and cracks. I don't know what all these are. Let's see. And so what I went with, what I thought was classiest, was the bricks. I just love bricks anyway. So instead of, now this is tape. You know, guys, this is tape. Like torn pieces of tape. That's what Bunk went with. And then Series 2 cheap toys was like baseball stitches. And so I thought what would be really classy for a Series 3 fantasy set would be do the bricks. Here's more mock-ups. I wasn't always trying to get the face right. I know the faces are cringe, but I was just trying to get the room right. So I was trying to figure out how to stack, what did I want around him? Did I want more cases? And none of these I went with. So. This is just a sketch of the, bunks. And this is a sketch of Pound's Series 2 box. I don't know if you guys have seen the Pound Series 2 box. It looks like that. Basically, Atom Bomb is exploding a garbage dump. These are just some unused ideas. more unused ideas. More fails. Character sketches, character group sketch. More just trying to learn how to draw the little characters. Sometimes you just need to practice how to fucking draw them before you can even put them together in a composition. Element sketches for the pack, bullet holes, flies. But I like the bricks, man. I think the bricks are pretty classic. Ugly old sketch. Vector collector never will be used. Super ugly. Opening 2 doors at once and everything flooding out around them, sort of like The Shining. This shit here. I tried to take this a little further. I do like this theme on the box. It would be cool to see Hector Collector opening a big bag of a big cheap toy bag. I think that would work for the lid. But in the end, I like the pyramid design because the first 2 boxes have a pyramid design. I don't know if you know that. One has, you know, Slobby Robbie on the pile. It's like a pyramid. And even Pound's exploding atom is like, you know, triangular. So I went with the triangle. Now, this is something I copied from one of the designers. He gave me a concept sketch, and so I tried to take it a little further. Obviously unused. Here's a tracing of what will eventually be the pack art. That's a blank sheet of paper. There's some color shit, idea shit. This is a fan set box, not used, and that might be it. Yeah, it is. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed that bit. That's something you can look forward to. It's supposed to be Series 3 Cheap Toy Fan Set. It's going to be a box. It's going to be a little smaller because we don't need 24 packs. Why would I sell you 24 packs? I'm not Tops here. We're just doing like a little fantasy set. So basically, it's going to be probably like this, like half of a box. It's going to have my design on it, hopefully. It will come with little baggies, but you'll get 10 figures. You'll get the 10 figures. You won't get 24 packs. Yeah, so. And that was supposed to be out last year. So here it is. All right, let me get all this shit out of the way. Yeah, I love drawing Garbage Pail Kids. They're really fun. They're actually pretty challenging, too. What's challenging about drawing Garbage Pail Kids, to me, is getting the bulbous part, like the head, to make it look like a, you know, like a plushy sphere. It's a fun challenge. You should try it. It's really fun. So in my mind, that is the future of GPK cheap toys. I think the hobby's just going to continue, and it's eventually going to kind of die. As far as crowning a new king of cheap toys, that was a joke. Okay, topic 99 was going to be quitting GPK is possible, but quitting GPK is impossible. So yeah, so what this means is the idea of quitting, I think, is very possible. Like, we can all sit here today, me and you right now. Can you imagine quitting? You probably can. I can too. I can imagine if I absolutely had to, I could probably quit in some capacity. But I think I would always come back to Garbage Pail Kids because I put so much fucking money into it for one thing in time. So I think the reality is no, you're not going to be able to quit it, not in your heart. Am I actually quitting Garbage Pail Kids or merely playing with the idea? Yeah, I'm just playing with the idea. Which comes to the last topic. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if I want to do this. The thing that I resent about collecting Garbage Pail Kids is that it makes me feel like I'm stuck in this mindset of nostalgia. And it seems to only be getting worse. I thought it would get better the more I collect. It's like, wow, I don't even think Garbage Pail Kids is relevant. I told you guys, I don't know anybody in my real life that collects this stuff or anybody that knows anybody that collects this stuff. I'm like the only weirdo that collects this stuff that I think in this area of Georgia. I don't know, man. I don't know anybody that really talks about it. I don't know if they're embarrassed or maybe I don't know, man. But what I resent, I think, why I would quit eventually or try to quit is I think it's preventing me from getting away from the kid inside me. Here we go. Yeah, I don't know if I can do this. You know, I think a lot of these topics honestly would be better as articles. It's better to write this stuff out than fucking live stream and explain stuff that's really painful to talk about. I would say that Garbage Pail Kid collectors in general are just pretty much big kids. I mean, what you see people try to do is they're saying, well, I'm investing. This was an investment. And adults invest, right? I've heard about this. My dad invested in the stock market. Wow, I'm like my dad. When I bought this Chrome pack, I was investing. And that's how I can sleep at night and pretend that collecting Garbage Pail Kids is what adults do. This is not what adults do. And that's why I don't tell people I collect Garbage Pail Kids. I'm not going to tell my wife's friends that I'm a goddamn Garbage Pail Kid collector. I'm almost 50 years old. That's something you don't do in the Deep South. You don't talk about childish shit. That's not what men do. You're going to tell a cowboy, you're going to go to Texas and tell some cowboy you're a Garbage Pail Kid collector. It's fucking embarrassing, bud. And that's why I stay very underground with it. And when I'm collecting this shit, I am like a big fucking kid. These are kids. I'm a kid. It's all like kid culture shit. And it is what it is, man. I think one day I probably will kind of grow out of it organically. But to me, this is kind of what kids do. And I'm a little embarrassed by it, man, honestly. And do you know what my wife calls what I do? She calls it playing with toys. And she'll say things like, yeah, go run off and play with your toys. Like I'm a goddamn little child. The times that I've brought up what I do to other adults, I'm talking about actual fucking adults. The look on their fucking face is, the look I get mostly is disappointment. And it's, I get it. It's funny, right? It is funny. We can laugh because it's so painful, right? That's our defense. Yeah, I am a big fucking loser. But when I'm up here, where I'm getting all my shit out, I can't help but feel like I'm kind of stuck in this this really childish state. Does Garbage Pail Kids help me grow as a man? Is Garbage Pail Kids helping me grow into the man I was supposed to be as God designed? Is this even God's will, or anyone's will for that matter? Is this my playtime, as my wife calls it? Go have your playtime with your toys. She literally says that to me. And sometimes it's in joking, sometimes it's in a heat of argument, because she resents me buying all this stuff, obviously. I mean, I spent, on this one, I spent $750, even though it's worth a little bit more, these are like $1,000 each, some of them. So, I mean, it's just crazy, man, that I'm spending so much money on something that I loved when I was 10 years old. Maybe this is a midlife crisis that we're going through. It's going to be kind of weird turning 50 and still engaged in this hobby. It's going to be fucking weird. And I have 2 friends already who got out because they turned 50. Because they turned 50, they got out. And so I am going to try to hang in there. You'll see me around. I'm not gone. I might have to deactivate my account for weeks at a time, but I do want to transition out of the Garbage Pail Kid world and just see, man. I don't know. Is what we're doing playtime? Why am I sitting up here constantly talking about this? What? What brand of loser am I to post 11,000 posts on GPK Underground, 11,000 paragraphs, 6,000 on cheaptoyland.com, thousands of posts on Facebook groups, and I make long fucking posts, like books, all the fucking millions of emails and posts to collector friends, just talking about it, not even trading, because I can't get my mind around what I'm doing with this. And so when someone brings the thought of endgame into it, it's so hurtful and depressing, because I realize I probably have some mental health issues, and I don't know what to do about it. And I don't think collecting Garbage Pail Kids is helping. It's making it worse. I mean, way worse. It's just, I don't know. Hopefully, maybe I'll run out of money and I'll have to quit, or we really wanted to get banned off Facebook. That's why sometimes I talk about things. I thought I was going to get canceled. It never happens when I try to bring up things. I'll just say things I don't even believe just to see what happens. You know, being an 80s kid, there's always shock value. I love shock value. And I'll say anything. I don't really care, But I was really trying to get banned. I need someone to get me out of this fucking hobby, because it just reminds me of my mental health issues and just how it makes my mind cycle, and I never get anywhere. I don't know if you guys feel that way. Maybe you're not to the position I'm at yet. Let this be a warning to where this end game is leading if you stay in it too long. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope one day you can quit Garbage Pail Kids, if it's on your terms, I know every one of you thought about it before. That's why I made this series, It always comes up. Quitting Garbage Pail Kids. There's some days you probably wake up and you wish you could be done with it. Maybe someone says something in one of the groups, just pisses you off. or maybe you post something. This happens to me. I always like put work into some video and no one says anything. It's like, man, y'all don't give a shit about what I'm doing. I put so much work into this shit, and it's hurtful, man. And then it just makes me feel even more crazy. Like, why am I trying to do anything? What's it all mean? It's almost like I'm trying to explain my mental health. Like my collection, my archive is just an explanation of why I have to have playtime. It's like I'm rationalizing insanity. I'm not insane. A lot of other people think this stuff is valuable. I'm not alone. Well, there's a chance that we're all insane. That's not a valid excuse. Especially when you're talking about older collectors who have been at it too long. But guys, I hope you've have a good day. It's been fun. I will not be back on here with topics, but I might do some mailbags. Like I said, I have art coming in from, dude, all these people, man. I don't know how to quit. I mean, I don't want to quit.